Well, it has been a bit of a slow week in automotive news, but we did manage to dig up some stories for you once again. We have our first photos of the interior of the new Jeep Wrangler, BMW is teasing a big sexy coupe, and Mercedes says no to diesel in the US. This is the AutoGuide.com weekly news roundup. Although we have already seen a ton of spy photos of the new Wrangler, finally we have some clear shots of the interior, and it shows an entirely new redesigned center stack, which in my opinion looks pretty damn good. Some of what can be seen on that center stack, like the HVAC controls and center mounted window switches, are all still present from the previous Wrangler, but there are a few new additions in this dashboard that are worth mentioning. Now these little buttons are likely upfitter switches, which makes total sense for the Wrangler. I mean, this thing is the most customized vehicle on the market. People love adding winches, light bars, all sorts of different things that require power. So building in those upfitter switches from the factory is a smart move by Jeep. We can also see that they spent a little bit of time on comfort, as a heated steering wheel and dual zone climate control are both present in the photos. And to top it all off, this prototype is using a stick shift. Now, Jeep hasn't confirmed that the new Wrangler will come with a manual, but I think it's pretty much guaranteed, and that makes me happy. The all-new JL Wrangler will be a 2018 model year vehicle, so we expect to see it sometime before the end of 2017, and if I was a betting man, I would say that we're gonna see the new Wrangler at the LA Auto Show in November. The news broke this week that BMW quietly stopped building the 6 Series coupe. They didn't really tell anyone, they just stopped making it, and now it's clear as to why. BMW is gearing up to build a bigger, more opulent coupe that will wear an 8 Series badge. The brand has released a single teaser image of what they're calling the 8 Series coupe concept, and it shows some really nice flowing lines. Now this teaser is the first official confirmation that the 8 Series is coming back, but we do have a few spy photos which already give us a good idea of what this thing will look like. Now we still don't really have any details on this 8 Series, although we were able to dig up some trademark filings from BMW for numbers like 850 and 860, but most importantly, the brand has protected the name M8. And needless to say, we can't wait to see a massive, high-power BMW coupe prowling the streets. Mercedes has announced that for the 2017 model year, it will not be selling any of its diesel vehicles in the US. Mercedes told Automotive News that it has dropped its plans to seek approval for its 2017 diesel models. Now they didn't go into too much detail, but Mercedes is currently under investigation by the US Justice Department, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the California Air Resources Board, all to do with possible emissions tampering on Mercedes-Benz diesel vehicles. Now despite the decision, Mercedes is leaving its options for the future open. The brand did say that it could still go back for certification for those 2017 model year vehicles, and it hasn't decided how it will proceed into the future. So this may not be the end of Mercedes diesels in the US, but it is for now. Now, if you've been watching these news roundups, you've figured out by now that we love to prowl patents here at AutoGuide because you get to see all sorts of crazy upcoming technologies. Case in point this week, Ford wants to be able to read your body language. Essentially, Ford is developing a system for self-driving cars that will be able to predict future movements of a car based on the driver's body language. Now, using a camera system, the Ford will be able to watch the car, see how it's driving, and then also look at the driver, see where they're looking, see how they're acting, and it will be able to predict exactly what that car is going to do. While I have no clue how good this system is going to work, it is definitely necessary because it seems like self-driving cars are inevitable. However, they will definitely have to be on the road with human-driven cars, and that's when things start to get complicated. So Ford is trying to solve that problem before it exists. Now the camera system will also be watching for gestures. So if you pull up at a stoplight and you wave a self-driving car through, it will actually see you wave and it'll drive through. I just don't know how it's going to react when this comes out. We've been busy here at AutoGuide this week as well. I spent some time with the new Chevy Colorado ZR2, and unfortunately I can't share my impressions yet, but make sure you come back on Monday, May 15th when the embargo lifts. Craig Cole was busy this week too, doing what he called the dark horse comparison between the Lincoln Continental and the Volvo S90, two sort of outliers in the luxury world. Make sure you go check that video out to see what Craig thinks of those cars, and I guarantee you he will definitely make you laugh at least once. And finally, it is a great day for us car enthusiasts as Porsche has announced it has built its 1 millionth 911. Now I say it's good news for enthusiasts because the 911 has been around for 54 years, but it is still all about driving purity, and that is something that is definitely being lost in a lot of today's cars. The 1 millionth 911 is a Carrera S model finished in Irish green, while the interior uses that houndstooth pattern on the seats and it looks great. Now the car will never be sold. It's destined to end up in the Porsche Museum in Stuttgart, Germany, but it is going to take a tour of the world, going for a number of road trips in places like the Scottish Highlands, around the famed Nürburgring, and even through the US. One of the coolest numbers that Porsche dropped on us is that the brand says 70% of every vehicle it has ever built is ready to be driven today. So if you apply that to 1 million 911s, that means 700,000 911s are still out there running on the roads, and that is just great news. Porsche also credits its quintessential race car with over half of its claimed 30,000 race wins since the brand began. So then naturally, this week we leave you with the video of that 1 millionth 911 coming together on the assembly line. Enjoy. That one there is called the double whammy. That only comes out on special occasions. Alrighty.